that is within me. Bless his holy name. This is your infamous Dr. Jeniffer Mundy coming to you live in this another day. And quick short break, a quick short lunch special, but it is not too short of a period to give praise and glory to God. So this morning, rather, I left off reading off First Kings, and I completed First Kings, and now I am in the book of Second Kings. God bless you as you come in. I'm going straight into it. 2 Kings chapter 1. Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Azariah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye should go to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore, thus saith the Lord, Thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And Elijah departed. And when the messengers turned back to him, he said unto them, Why are ye now turned back? And they said unto him, There came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, Go turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord. Thank you so much, Piana, for coming in. Good day. Is it not because there is not a man in Israel that thou sendest to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And he said unto them, What manner of man was he which came up to meet you and told you these words? And they answered him, He was an hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, It is Elijah the Tishbite. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, and we went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of an hill, and he spake unto him, Thou man of God, the king had said, Come down. But if you notice here, it is giving you a description of the dress code of Elijah. So Elijah wore very expensive clothes. That the Bible said he has leather about his loin. So Elijah did not dress raggedy as John in the wilderness, and even John wore pure leather. So Elijah was a very fancy dresser. I'm doing the King James Version in the Old Testament. I'm in 2 Kings chapter 1, and now I am in verse 9. Now I'm in verse 10. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, If I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there come down fire from heaven and consume him and his 50. So here, what we're seeing now is that Ahaziah is sending for Elijah to come, and Elijah refused, and he sent 50. And what happened? And what happened? Fire came down and consumed them. And again, also he sent unto him another captain, 50 with his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of God, thus the king said, Come down quickly. No, you don't summon a prophet like that. The prophet come to you with the word of God. A prophet hears from God. A prophet is not there on your beck and call. The prophet move based on what God tell them. Isabella, thank you so much for coming in. Make sure everyone subscribe. All Rick Anderson, please come in. Please come in. Please come in. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as you come. And Elijah answered and said unto them, If I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of heaven came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. And he sent again a captain of the third 50, which is his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and let the life of these 50 thy servant be precious in thy sight. Behold, there come down fire from heaven and burnt up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in thy sight. And the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah, go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. So what is happening now? The third 50 band of men came humble and bowed because they knew what happened to the first 100. So this time they bowed and they humbled themselves before Elijah. And now God spoke. You don't challenge a man of God like that. You're in great danger. Ulrich Anderson, 2046. Can you please subscribe? Make sure you all subscribe, everybody. And the angel of the Lord said unto Elijah, go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore thou shalt not come down off the bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And he died according to the word of the Lord which Elijah had spoken. And Jehoram reigned in his stead in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaziah, which he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings? And now I am going to read Second Chronicles, 2 Kings, chapter 2. And it came to pass when the Lord would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind that Elijah went Elisha from Gilgal. So now we're going to see where Elijah is going to be translated into heaven, meaning that the whirlwind is going to take him up because Elijah did not see death. And Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord had said. And Elisha said unto him, as the Lord liveth and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel. This reminds me of Ruth and Naomi, where Ruth claimed to her mother-in-law. Elijah told Elisha that I'm about to leave and he should stay while he go. And Elijah refused. And the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elisha and said unto him, knowest that thou the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yeah, I know it, hold your peace. So the sons of the prophets, they came and said, okay, because they believed that Elisha was Elijah's favorite. But Elisha served Elijah. And Elijah said, I know, shut your mouth, you talk too much. You don't need to tell me, we all know. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord hath sent me to Jericho. And he said, as the Lord liveth and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. So Elijah is trying to tell Elisha to stay, don't follow me, because he's on his way to be taken up. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, knowest now that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he answered, yeah, I know it, hold your peace. The same thing. So Elijah has a lot of sons throughout the land of Israel. And Elijah said, Mr. Poronza, thank you. Hello, God bless you. Can you please subscribe for me, please? Hit that subscribe button right there for me. I appreciate you. And Elijah said unto him, tarry, I pray thee here, for the Lord had sent me to Jordan. And he said, as the Lord liveth and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they two went on. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they too stood by the Jordan. So now Elijah was about to be taken up. And then now these are the sons of the prophets. They stood afar off to watch Elijah go. And Elijah took his mantle, which is his clothes, and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided either thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. And it came to pass when they were gone over that Elijah said unto Elisha, what shall I do for you? Therefore I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee that a double portion of thy spirit come upon me. And he said, thou art asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass as they went on and talked, and behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes, and rent them in two pieces. He took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. And he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, where is the Lord God of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted thither, hither and thither, and Elijah went over. And when the sons of the prophets which were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, the spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha. And they came to meet him, and bowed themselves to the ground before him. And they said unto him, behold, now there be thy servants 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek thy master, lest peradventure the Spirit of the Lord had taken him up, and cast him upon some mountain, or into some valley. And he said, he shall not send. Did you subscribe, Mr. Perozon? Make sure you subscribe. Thank you. And when they urged him till he was ashamed, he said, send. And they sent therefore 50 men, and they sought 3 days, but found him not. And when they came again to him, for he tarried at Jericho, he said unto them, did I not say unto you, go not? And the men of the city said unto Elisha, behold, I pray thee, the situation of the city is pleasant, and my Lord seeketh, but the water is not, and the ground barren. And he said, bring me a new cruse, and put salt therein. And they brought it to him. And he went forth into the spring of the waters, and cast the salt in there, and said, thus saith the Lord, I have healed these waters, that there shall not be from thence any more death or barren land. So what we notice now, Elisha now received the mantle of Elijah, and now he's walking in even a greater power and anointing than his spiritual father. So the waters were healed until this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spake. And he went up from thence unto Bethel, and he was going up by the way. There came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. So this was Elisha. He had a bald head, and there were children that were mocking him. And he turned back and looked on them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tear 42 children of them. And he went from thence to Mount Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. So we see that immediately after the mantle is passed on Elisha, he started to do great miracles and wonders and signs and wonders. Now I am in chapter 3. That is 2 Kings 3. Now Jehoram, the son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Samaria in the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. And he wrought even the sight of the Lord, but not like his father and like his mother, for he put away the image of Baal that his father had made. So now we see Jehoram, the next person to Asa that came and wrought and put away the idols of Baal. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin, and he departed not therefrom. So he didn't do so badly, but he was still cleaving unto idolatry. And Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep master, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and 100,000 rams with the wool. But it came to pass when Ahab was dead, that the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. And King Jehoram went out of Samaria the same time, and numbered all Israel. And he went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab had rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art, my people as thy people, and thy horses as my horses, thy horses. And he said, which way shall we go? And he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey, and there was no water for the ox and for the cattle that followed them. And the king of Israel said, alas, that the Lord had called these 3 kings together to deliver them into the hand of the Moab. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, okay? Thank you. But Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of the Lord, that we may inquire of the Lord by him? Now is that Elisha? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, here is Elisha, the son of Shaphat, which poured water on the hands of Elijah. meaning that he served Elijah. Now, remember, Elijah has many other prophets, but whenever they're ready to seek counsel, whenever they're ready for signs and wonders and miracles too, and from a word from God, they sought Elisha. And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, what have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophets of thy father and to the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, nay, for the Lord hath called these three kings together to deliver them into the hand of the Moab. And Elijah said, as the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when a minstrel played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him. And he said, thus saith the Lord, make this valley full of ditches. For thus saith the Lord, he shall not see wind, neither shall he see rain. Yet that valley shall be filled with water, that he may drink both he and your cattle and your beasts. And this is but a light thing in the sight of the Lord. He will deliver the Moabites also into your hand, and he shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and stop all wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. And it came to pass in the morning, when the meat offering was offered, that behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. Another miracle, another sign, another wonder. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were come to fight against them, they gathered all that were about to put on armor, and upward stood in the border. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water, and the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, this is blood. The kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. And when they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them, but they went forward, smiting the Moabites even in their country. I pray that God will deliver the enemy in your hands and give you strategies how to fight the good fight of faith. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land cast every man a stone, and filled it, and they stopped all the wells of water, and felled all the good trees. Only in Ker-Hasharet, Ker-Haraset, left they the stones thereof. Howbeit the slingers went about it and smote it. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords to break through even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son. Listen to this now. The enemy took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. So sacrifices is the altar that you make. The bigger altar will always stand over the lesser altar. So when you sacrifice unto the Lord, and you give yourself unto the Lord, and you serve the Lord faithfully, I'm telling you, you're powerful. Now I'm in 2 Kings 4. Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets of Elisha, saying, thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that my servant did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. And Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, thine handmaid had not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Then he said, go borrow these vessels abroad of thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. So now we're seeing a similar event that took place with Elijah and the widow woman of Zarephath. Is the same scenario, similarly, is playing out with Elijah. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, bring me yet another vessel. And he said unto her, there is not yet more. And the oil stayed. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, go and sell the oil and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest. And it fell on that day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was that as oft as he passed by, he turned in thither to eat bread. And she said unto her husband, behold, now I perceive that this is an holy man of God, which passeth by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed and a table and a stool and a candlestick. And it shall be when he cometh to us that he shall turn in thither. And it fell on a day that he came thither, and he turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said unto Gehazi his servant, call this Shunammite. And when he had called her, she stood before him, and he said unto him, say now unto her, behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is it to be done for thee? Wouldest thou be spoken for to the king or to the captain of the host? And she answered, I dwell among mine own people. So now, because of her faithfulness unto Elisha, Elijah said, what is it that you want? I will give you. What's your request? And she said, what then is it to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, verily she had no child, and her husband is old. And he said, call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the door. And he said, about this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, nay, my Lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thine handmaid. So we're seeing the same similarity played out with Elijah and Elisha. And the woman conceived and bare a son at that season that Elijah had said unto her according to the time of life. And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out to his fathers to the reapers. And he said unto his father, my head, my head. And he said to a lad, carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, and shut the door upon him, and went out. And she called unto her husband and said, send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of God and come again. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it will be well. Then she saddled an ass and said to her servant, drive and go forward, slack not thy riding for me, except I bid thee. So she went and came into the man of God, into Mount Carmel. And it came to pass that when the man of God saw her far off, that he said to Gehazi, his servant, behold, yonder is that Shunammite. Run now, I pray thee, to meet her, and say unto her, is it well with thee? Is it well with thy husband? Is it well with the child? And she answered, it is well. And when she came to the man of God, to the hill, she caught him by the feet, but Gehazi came near to thrust her away. And the man of God said, let her alone, for her soul is vexed with her, and the Lord had hid it from me, and had not told me. Then she said, did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? Then she said to Gehazi, gird up thy loins, and take my staff in thine hand, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute thee, answer him not again, and lay thy staff upon the face of the child. Now, we're seeing a powerful miracle happening here. Now this woman had a child that Elisha said she would. Now he fell sick and he died, and then she came to Elisha with a heavy heart. And what did Elisha did? Elisha didn't even have to go. He sent the staff that he had with his servant to lay upon the child. And Gehazi passed on before them and laid the staff upon the face of the child. But there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him and told him, saying, the child is not awake. And when Elijah was come into the house, now Elijah came into the house, behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. And he went in therefore and shut the door upon them twain and prayed unto the Lord. And he went up and lay upon the child and put his mouth upon his mouth. He do resuscitation, and his eyes opened upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands, and stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. So that is the grace and the power of God. Then he returned and walked into the house and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him, and the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi and said, call this Shunammite. So he called her, and when she was coming to him, he said, take up thy son. Then she went in and fell on his feet, and bowed herself to the ground, and took up her son, and went out. And Elijah came again to Gilgal. And there was a dearth, meaning a famine, in the land, and the sons of the prophets were sitting before him. And he said unto his servants, set on the great pot, and seed pottage for the sons of the prophets. And one went out into the field to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and gathered therefore wild gourds his lapful, and came and shred them into the pot of pottage, for they knew them not. So they poured out for the men to eat. And it came to pass, as they were eating at the pottage, that they cried out and said, O thou man of God, there is death in the pot, and they could not eat thereof. And he said, then bring meal, and he cast it into the pot. And he said, pour out of the people that they may eat. And there was no arm in the pot. And there came a man from Baal Behalisha, and brought the man of God bread of the first fruit, 20 loaves of barley, and full ears of corn in the husk thereof. And he said, Give unto the people, and that they may eat. And his servitor said, What should I set this before 100 men? And he said again, Give the people that they may eat, for thus saith the Lord, they shall eat and shall leave thereof. So we see the miracles of like what Jesus did with the fishes and loaves of bread, right, is still first demonstrated here by Elisha. So he set it before them, and they did eat and left thereof according to the word of the Lord. Now so you see, Elisha is just doing miracle after another, miracle after another, miracle after another. Now I am in 2 Kings chapter 5. Oh, hallelujah. God is helping us. Now Nahum, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and honorable. Because of him, the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. So now we're introduced to a king named Naaman, but he was a leper, and meaning that he had boils and sores. And she said unto her mistress, Would God my Lord were with the prophet that is in Samaria, for he would recover him of his leprosy. So he had a slave girl, and the slave girl is telling him that, Go unto this prophet, he will recover you. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, Thus and thus said the maid that is in the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now when this letter is come unto thee, behold, I have therein sent Naaman my servant to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass, when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, Am I God to kill and to make alive, that this man doeth sent unto me to recover a man of his leprosy? Wherefore consider, I play you, and see how he seeketh a quarrel against me. And it was so, when Elijah, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, Wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times. Now, River Jordan is very dirty, was very dirty. And thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, meaning that he didn't like Elijah was telling him to go into the dirty River Jordan to bathe. So knowing that he is a very affluent man in society, and went away and said, Behold, I thought he will surely come out and me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper. Are not Abana and Pharpar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? And may I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in rage. And his servant came near and spake unto him and said, My father, if the prophet had bid thee to do some great thing, wouldest thou not have done it? How much rather than when he said to thee, Wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the young of the man of God, and his flesh, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child. He was clean. You man, right? Can you please subscribe? Sam, please make sure everybody is subscribing. I am now in Second Kings. I'm now in 2 Kings chapter 5, and I am now reading verse, let me tell you. I'm now reading verse 15. And he returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold now, know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. But he said, As the Lord liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. The same thing like Abram said, I don't want your spoil, in that you believe that it is what you gave me rich. So the prophet here refused it. And Naaman said, Shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules burden of earth, for thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto the Lord. In this thing the Lord pardoned thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth on the hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow down myself to the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardoned thy servant in this thing. And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a little while. A little way. But Gehazi, the servant Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master hath spared Naaman the Syrian in not receiving at his hand that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him, and said, Is all well? And he said, All is well, my master hath sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophet. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garment. So Gehazi lied. And Naaman said, Be content, take 2 talents. And he heard him, and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garment, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand, and bestowed them in the house, and he let the man go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master. And Elijah said unto him, Whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, Thy servant went no whither. He was lying to the prophet. He should know better. And he said unto him, Went not mine heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? So Elisha saw in the realms of the spirit what he did. Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servant and maid servant? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence, a leper as white as snow. So that the leper of Naaman came upon Gehazi because he defiled the name of the Lord. He did not walk according to the instruction of the prophet, and he did his own thing, so he became leprous. This is Dr. Jeniffer Mundy signing out now. I will come again to you probably another 2 hours from now, and I will continue to read from 2 Kings chapter 6. God bless you. I've got to go. This is my lunch special to you. May the Lord and peace of grace of mercy rest upon you. Please hit the subscribe button. I love you with the love of the Lord. God bless you.